Alright, so in this video, we're going to make a small change to our code and see how it handles numbers that a user enters at the keyboard. I'm also going to take the opportunity to explain why we had to initialize separators on line 2. I'm going to start with that in fact. Let's just remind ourselves of what this program's doing by running it. I'm not debugging it this time. Got the output at the bottom of the screen there, and basically the separators are printed out and the code produces a list of the 7 numeric values contained in the number variable. So that works fine. The question we're looking at is, why have we bound separators to an empty string on line 2? Well, let's comment that line out and see what happens when we run it. The first thing you'll notice is that we've got warnings wherever the value of separators is used in the code. So line 6 over here is trying to take the current value of separators and appending the char to it. The problem is that Python has no idea what the current value of separators is. That's because we haven't bound separators to any value. It doesn't exist. And if we hover over that, we can see name separators cannot be defined. We need to create the separators variable by attaching it to a value, and that's what we're doing effectively on line 2. So if I run the program now with that line still commented out, you can see we actually get a crash there. Name separators is not defined. So basically we need to define our separators variable by binding it to a value before we try to use its value. So that's really why line 2 is necessary. So I better uncomment that. I'll just undo that change to fix that so that our program doesn't crash anymore. Alright, so let's see how we can handle this code to get several values from the user. On line 1, what I'm going to do is change this to get input from the user instead of actually using a string literal that we're currently doing. So I'm going to change it to be number equals input parentheses, double quotes, please enter a series of numbers using any separators you like, colon, and I better put my spelling hat on, separators. Okay, so if we run the program now, and for the first example, let's go with 1, 2, 3, semicolon, 4, 5, 6, colon, 7, 8, 9, 0, 1, 2. And what I'll also do is take the opportunity, I'll just go back and put a space after the first comma as well. 1 comma space 2, 3, semicolon, 4, 5, 6, colon, 7, 8, 9, 0, 1, 2. Also noting here that all the values I've entered have a different number of digits. That's something that our slice wouldn't have been able to handle. So when I press enter here, we get a list containing the 4 values. 1, 23, 456, 789, 0, 1, 2. Remember that we're only interested in the for loop at the moment. Again, don't worry about understanding lines 10 and 11 at this time. I'm going to finish this video by making our program a bit more useful. Instead of just printing the values, I'll get the program to add them up and print out the total. Python's actually got a sum function built in, and you can find a list of the built-in functions at the link that I'm going to put into a browser now. The link is also in the resources section. You can see sum, which is the one we're going to use. But again, you can check that at your leisure. Going back to the code, let's make a few changes. Firstly, I'm going to comment out line 8. Then I'm going to come down to line 11. We're going to change this to calculate the sum. So to do that, I'm going to add sum after the left parentheses with a left parentheses. And right at the end, I'm going to add another right parentheses to make the line valid. And if we run the code now, we've got a useful calculator for adding up a series of numbers. So we could do exactly the same as we did previously. 1 comma space 2, 3, semicolon, 4, 5, 6, colon, 7, 8, 9, 0, 1, 2. We've got a value there, 7, 8, 9, 4, 9, 2. We'll run it again. You can use any separator you want with the numbers. Let's try another one. 1 comma 2, space 3, semicolon 4, colon, space 5, space 6, space 7, comma 8, colon 9, space 10. Press enter. You can see we get the value now of 55. The important bit about this code is the for loop on lines 4 through 6. That iterates over the input and builds up a string containing anything that isn't a numeric character. Because we're extracting the separators from the user's input, we don't then have to care about what separator characters they're using. This code is already quite robust. Have a go at entering all sorts of input and you'll find it's very difficult to crash the program. It is possible to crash it by holding down the control key, for example, but for normal input, it should cope with anything you can type. Moving forward, in the next video, we'll look at iterating over another iterable type, the range. See you in the next video.